Hey, Joey, thanks so much for being here today. So, we talk about company culture all the time at Nectar. It's what we do. We help companies build better culture. And I noticed you were recently on the job search. So, I really want to dive into that a little bit. So, when it comes to culture on the job search, like how do you evaluate that? How do you assess that? Did it ever qualify companies for you or disqualify them? Like, tell me more.
Yeah, for sure. Great question too. And I think that whenever I'm evaluating company culture, right, the main thing I want to do is reach out to the active sales reps. I'm in sales, of course, right? I want to talk to the other individual contributors on the team, account executives, SDRs, even team leads if the company has a team lead. And I want to be very transparent, push for transparency, ask them tough questions and try to gauge their honest feedback. Like, how do they like working at this organization? And then I'm going to ask similar questions to the leadership team and ask them about, how do your reps like working at the organization? Like, what's the culture like? And I want to see if those answers match up with each other, right? Because if I'm getting a drastically different scenario from one of the reps than what the leaders are telling me in the interview process, that's going to be a huge red flag for me personally. And then the second thing I like to do is, maybe this is a little bit stalkerish, right? But you have to be thorough when you're evaluating a company. But I like to pull up all their LinkedIn pages, right? I mean, I was looking at a lot of startups, so it wasn't really pulling up too many pages, thankfully. But I like to go to the active employees, see if they're posting on LinkedIn, and look to see if other team members at the company are engaging with their content, right? And trying to see, what does that vibe look like? What does that interaction look like? Are they hyping each other up? Are they supporting each other publicly? Because I think another red flag would be if, there's a lone wolf out there in the company that's actively posting on LinkedIn, going hard publicly, and no one from the organization is liking or supporting or commenting. That would just be a huge red flag for me. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about like what is it within the interview process that allows you to gauge company culture, and do you feel like it's even accurate when you're gauging? But you kind of take it a step further than just looking at the interview process and being like, does this fit or not? And actually asking the people doing the comparison. So you kind of already go a step beyond in that aspect. So I guess if I'm a job seeker, like what advice do you have for me? If you found a company culture that, they meant what they said in the interview process, the people you talked to, again, meant what they said, things matched up. What advice do you have for somebody who's in that vulnerable position?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, at least for me personally, like, I want to work at an organization that is going to highlight my personal strengths, right? I think, one of my strengths is social selling, being active on LinkedIn. And I want to make sure that whatever organization I'm going to, I'm going to be interacting with their customers fit that type of persona that's active on LinkedIn, right? So I wanted to make sure that, hey, I want to sell to either salespeople, marketers, or CS people, because that's who fills my LinkedIn feed, right? So that's a big thing that I personally recommend looking for, finding out what you're good at, what strengths do you have, and then making sure that, whoever you're interacting with, the customers of that organization that you're interviewing at, that those align, right? Like, is that an ICP that you feel comfortable building long-term relationships with? Are those people you're going to want to have conversations with on a daily basis and engage with? And is it going to be fun for you to even talk to those people? Because I can tell you, like, I was in cybersecurity for a little while, and
Same.
I really didn't enjoy talking with, like, super technical IT cybersecurity professionals. Like, it just wasn't fun for me personally. So that's where, now in my next steps, and now that I'm a little bit later on in my career, those are the type of things I think about. But yeah, that would be my biggest piece of advice, is think long and hard about, the customers, the people that you're going to be engaging with on a daily basis, and make sure that that aligns with the type of people that you feel comfortable having long-term relationships with.
That's great advice, especially coming from a salesperson to people who might be looking for a new role in sales. So you started at Tourial. I've seen things about it. We'll get into it in a little bit about what the company actually does. But what's the culture like? What's the vibe with the coworkers? How do you communicate? Like, just tell me more about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say at Toriel, right? It really is a true team environment. I mean, I posted about this on LinkedIn a while back when, we had our first kind of sales team offsite, but really it's kind of majority of the team, right? Because majority of the team is already based in Atlanta. So it was pretty much just bringing the rest of the team to Atlanta. We did this back in November and we had like a Shark Tank game, right? So our executive leadership team, they were the judges, and we got matched with partners, and really you could come up with any idea involving anything that has to do with our product, the pricing, the product itself, any specific features like our go to market motion, anything at all. We had a say in, like, hey, like, this is an idea I think we could potentially run with and pitch it to our executive team. And we actually started implementing some of these ideas already after that Shark Tank incident. So it really is a team environment where, everyone's ideas matter. We celebrate each other regularly. But on the flip side, too, like, we regularly have very transparent conversations about the business overall as a group. And, we're not shy about pushing each other to do better and be better. So, yeah.
It's so important, actually. I think people forget how important that is to have candid conversations as an entire company. Like in the all hands meetings, there should not be hush hush secrets between leadership and whoever's below them. There shouldn't be, the metrics are secret. You can't know how much money we make. Like, you need to know pretty much
Yeah.
all of that to be able to do the best job you can. And it's weird to ask some of those questions in the interview process, but I would almost recommend it because if you don't have that level of transparency, how are you going to get the things you need to do your job well? Like, how are you going to know how you fit
Yeah.
into that puzzle if you don't even know what the whole thing looks like? So that's awesome. Well, feel free. We're almost done here, but tell me a little bit more about Tourial, what you do there, and what the company does, and how people can reach out if they're interested.
Yeah, so Toriel is amazing. I mean, I'm an account executive at Toriel, right? My main job is, of course, finding new business, closing new business, and just building relationships with everyone that's involved with Toriel, our customers, our, like everyone involved with Toriel, right? But simply put, Toriel helps SaaS marketers and sales teams explain how their product works through interactive and guided tours so that potential buyers don't have to wait around for a demo with a salesperson to fully understand the product. And that's the easiest way to describe what it is that we do. We're all about opening up the platform, showing the tool itself before someone has to, schedule 45 minutes with an account executive or, fill out a long lead form or something like that. It's really just about showing the platform itself. And then from there, getting them to take action and then chat with the salesperson and go from there. But yeah.
That's great. I'm finding so many SaaS websites when you go to them. It's like, we operationalize the this and the that. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I need to feel it. I need to see it. I need to experience it. And that's what you provide. Like, you take those words and you put meaning to them. You get to poke around in it and just be curious. And that's so cool. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for talking through company culture on the job search. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Emily.